In deep sorrow, with a heart burdened by grief and loneliness, Patriarch Abraham stood before the people of Heth. His heart was filled with a heaviness that he felt in every fiber of his being. His love for Sarah was unbreakable, and now, with her gone, the world seemed empty. The void in his soul was so great that no prayer could fill it. Yet Abraham, though overwhelmed by pain, knew he must act with dignity and respect, ensuring a place where Sarah could rest in peace no matter his own tragedy. With deep humility and true faith, he bowed before the sons of Heth, and with a trembling but resolute heart said, "I am a foreigner and a visitor among you. Allow me to buy a burial site among you, so I may bury my dead before my eyes." His words resonated with seriousness and respect for their people, but also with the sorrow of a man who had lost his dearest. Each word was filled with a plea for understanding and support in his time of sorrow. The sons of Heth, witnesses to his humility and genuine respect for their people, responded with emotion. "Hear us, my lord. You are a prince of God among us. Bury your dead in the best of our tombs. No one among us will withhold his tomb from you, so that you may bury your dead." Their answer was full of respect and kindness, reflecting the greatness of Abraham's dignity. But Abraham, though moved, remained firm in his decision to act with justice and integrity in all his deeds. He did not wish to accept something without paying for it, even in this emotionally charged moment. He knew that every step he took must be marked by righteousness. With humility and resolve, he asked the people of Heth to mediate on his behalf with Ephron, son of Zohar, to offer him the field with the Machpelah cave. "If it is your will that I bury my dead before my eyes, hear me and mediate for me with Ephron, son of Zohar, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which is at the end of his field. Let him give it to me for the full price, as a possession for a burial site among you," said Abraham, his words carrying weight and determination, expressing his responsibility for his beloved Sarah. Ephron, who was present among the gathered, responded with generosity, but also with courtesy that did not reflect the true value of the land. "No, my lord, hear me. I give you the field and the cave that is in it. I give you. In the presence of the sons of my people, I give it to you. Bury your dead." But Abraham, despite Ephron's generosity, refused to accept it as a gift, knowing that it could not be deemed just. He understood that in this moment of grief, every action must be marked by righteousness. He, with calm and resolve, asked the people of Heth to mediate for him. "Hear me, please. I will pay the price for the field. Accept it from me so that I may bury my dead there," insisted Abraham, showing that for him, honor and justice were more important than any other virtue. He was a man who understood the importance of both spiritual principles and practical honesty. Then Ephron, sensing Abraham's resolve, with a heavy heart and courtesy, proposed the final terms. "My lord, hear me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver, but what is that between me and you? Bury your dead." Abraham, without hesitation, accepted the price and paid immediately, placing full trust in his decision. The field of Ephron in Machpelah, with the cave and all the trees in it, became Abraham's rightful possession, and with it, the first true ownership in the land that had been promised to him by God. In this way, Abraham confirmed his faith and steadfastness in God's promises. With a heart full of gratitude and respect, Abraham buried his beloved Sarah in the cave of Machpelah, before Mamre, known as Hebron, in the land of Canaan. This place, which received Sarah's remains, became holy, not only as her resting place, but also as a testimony to her courage and faith, and to Abraham's dedication to God and righteousness. The Machpelah cave became not just a burial site, but a lasting monument to the love and respect binding Abraham and Sarah, as well as the faith that would guide Abraham's descendants through time. In the land of Haran, where God directed the path of Abraham and his descendants, a significant event was unfolding that would change the fate of many people. It was the time when Abraham, before his death, sought to secure the future of his son Isaac. In a true spiritual and faithful manner, he decided that his son should not marry a woman from the inhabitants of Canaan, but instead, he chose to find a relative from his homeland who could bring him love and reverence for God's will. Abraham knew that Isaac could not marry just any woman, but one who would be a true example of faith and obedience to God. With this spirit of faith and trust, Abraham sent his servant to find a wife for Isaac from the land of his relatives, giving him clear instructions to not return without a wife for Isaac. Abraham's servant, filled with humility and trust in God's will, began his journey. He carried with him the great responsibility of making the right decisions, guided by prayer and fulfilling God's will. His dedication and sincerity were reflected in every action he took. God, if I explain your intentions in this journey, may your Spirit show me the right choice, he prayed as he began his travels. And so it was. The journey was long, but faith and hope kept him strong. When he arrived in the city of Nahor, after a long period of waiting, he noticed a woman who came to the well to draw water. Her name was Rebekah, and not only was she beautiful, but her soul was filled with faith and love for God. When the servant saw her, he immediately realized that she was God's chosen one. This woman would become Isaac's wife. He asked her to give him water, and she, with kindness and generosity, not only gave him water, but offered to water his camels as well. At that moment, the servant began to seek God's guidance. Was this the woman he had been looking for? Rebekah, a woman from Abraham's family, was like a light on his path. The servant, confident in God's guidance, asked to be taken to her family to explain his purpose. They accepted his request, but her family was cautious. "She is our sister. Should we send her away immediately?" they asked. In such moments of uncertainty and differing opinions, Rebekah made the decision. She looked into the servant's eyes, the man who brought God's message, and without hesitation replied, "I will go." For her, it was more than just a journey. It was a commitment to fulfill God's will. Her heart was filled with faith that what was happening was part of God's plan for her. But before she left, her family blessed her. They did not try to keep her, but rather blessed her with words that would mark her future. "Be the mother of thousands and millions, and let your offspring possess the gate of their enemies." These words were God's blessing that she carried with her, and which would guide Rebekah on her path. At the moment of departure, Rebekah felt that this blessing was the true guidance for her destiny. Leaving her homeland was not only the beginning of a new chapter in her life, but the confirmation of her belief in God's will. With her maids, on camels, and accompanied by the servant, Rebekah departed. She was a bearer of hope and God's plan. As she left her family home, she was not only leaving her past behind, but beginning a new life with a true purpose, to lead her household and her people in God's light. The freedom that Rebekah carried was not only physical, but spiritual. The knowledge that she was in God's direction made her strong, and when she met Isaac, she knew that this was God's plan being fulfilled in her life. She was not just a wife, but the mother of a generation that would come from her offspring. With faith, determination, and love, Rebekah continued her life, fulfilling God's will, and began her journey that would bring the blessings her family had foreseen. They blessed her, but they could not know what kind of impact her decision would have. Though much time would pass, the story of this woman would be marked as an example of faith, readiness, and devotion.